and that has not worked out so well for us. Um, Again, putting players out of position and out of their zone of comfortability. Um, I'm not saying like Jacob Gilliard is a savior, but damn it, he's the second best point guard on this team at the time, and
Yeah, yeah.
now we're not going to have him. Okay, so that's not good. And then they play again on Saturday, uh, and so if he plays both games and then he played last night too, that's a lot. Is he going to play Sunday? Probably not. Um, for the Grizzlies, right? That's the next. It's Friday and then Sunday, right? For the Grizzlies,
Sorry?
it's Friday and then Sunday for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if Jacob Gilliard is playing with the Hustle Friday and Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
will he be playing Sunday for the Grizzlies? I'm saying probably not. Um,
Probably not.
So that's another game where we'll have no real true ball handler. And you want if people are talking about, Bain making a leap as a ball handler, like improving his ball handling skills. And Kennard, played point in college, so he's a ball handler, but at the same time, that's not what you have them there for. And again, it's putting this added pressure
Mm-hmm.
um on these players to play them in these situations where they shouldn't have to be in. So, in the past, everybody's been like, "Oh, King Kleinman," and I've been there, but this personnel issue has got me singing a different tune, lately because back to the beginning of the conversation, we just did not make any contingency plans. You know,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
didn't.
that's
Well,
kind of the thing that like we don't have Brandon Clark, we know that for sure. Okay. And Steven Adams was a big question mark, right? And
mm,
so, and we didn't, we knew, as you said, as you pointed in the beginning, we knew that we were not going to have Ja for 25 games. We knew that we didn't have Tyus Jones this season,
mhm.
and basically nothing happened. Like we knew all
Yep.
these things, and we just kept on knowing, and no action was made on this. And you were talking about Gilliard, um, and the fact that he's gonna play tomorrow on the Memphis Hustle. And also, it's something that for me
Mhm.
also is kind of mind-blogging because, as you said, right now he's like the second best point guard we have. Doesn't matter if he's 5'6" or whatever, but he is.
Mhm.
And for what he's been playing, I think that he should deserve better minutes because he can like do what point guards do, which is to ball handling and assist and everything. And that would take the pressure of other players like Marcus or even Bain. I even saw Luke Kennard doing ball handling to his games, and so now suddenly we know that he's not going to play tomorrow, and probably, as you said, maybe not even going to play against the Clippers. That's kind of difficult to understand.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like there is a a lack of support that the players are feeling intensely at the moment. You know what I mean? They did not make any moves in the offseason to support them. They're taking away the one true ball handler they have, for these when they're on a losing streak and they need
Yeah.
every hand on deck.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
sorry about that.
No, no, no. It's okay. Uh, and one thing, because players usually especially regarding the sports they play, they're not stupid.
Right.
And uh, so all this that you were saying, like it can make players start to disbelieve because seems like nothing is really making sense, and the decisions are either not well made or in some cases not made at all.
Right.
Um, and that's probably, I don't know, I'm just going off my mind here. I'm just following my thoughts. But maybe you were talking about the lack of chemistry and a lot of lack of energy and confidence and all that. And at some point, it also can come from players not trusting the process, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Well, but do we see what the process is? Can we get a hint on what the process? Because I feel like it's like we don't know what we're doing, like we're like a rudderless ship.
Now the process seems to be like we are trying to find the process, and every single time that we have a hint of maybe a process, we go on a opposite direction of the process that we could envision there. That's the process that I'm seeing. But okay, I hope that better times will come, and I'm sure they will. I just hope, and now I'm speaking very seriously and from my heart, I just hope that they don't come too late this season. Because I think that Jack can change a lot of things and that he will change a lot of things, but he's not gonna play alone. And as you said, it's not the same thing that to come and to join a team that has done decently well without him, or come into a team that is um, like on their knees, so to speak. So um, I don't know.
No, I hope for continued improvement. You know, I don't use Instagram, but somebody posted on Twitter, Jaron's Instagram post where he says, "No one cares, work harder, 100%." And you know, so you know, we've got players in the right mindset, and hopefully, working harder doesn't just mean like working harder on their game, but working harder on their game together,
Hmm.
trying to build that rapport and that trust and that chemistry that they really do need to play what we call Grizzlies basketball. This kind of free, fast, fun,
Hmm.
connected basketball. Whereas right now, we're just like it's all very disjointed and very disconnected and very like lack of trust and we're skating on thin ice with that. But I hopefully, even if they don't trust the process or the front office or maybe in some cases even the coaching,
Hmm.
hopefully they can get it together and trust each other,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
it for themselves and for Jaw and for the team and the city, the whole thing, it's all wrapped up together. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. And you mentioned Jaren, and you mentioned Bain. Um, how do you see the effect that all this, and now I'm seeing this on a positive way, because I think that okay, they like they're leading the team right now, and they're going through some tough moments as a team, of course, but also it's uh, can be and like a growth experience for both Jaren and Bane, right?
Most definitely. Most definitely. People have been talking about Bane being a leader on this team and And I feel with the way that they've both been performing, like, you know, there's room for
Yeah,
two
because
leaders, co-captains. Let's have a strong core three, right? We know Ja, he people follow him regardless, whatever you might think about him.
hmm
Um, he is a natural leader because people follow him. And then,
yeah,
Dane, very outspoken, very driven, and I
hmm
feel Jaren, um, coming into his own as far as playing a game, you know, where he can be aggressive, but not
hmm
clumsy. And I think, the more that he is able to finesse his game and make it that much smoother, then the more respect, you know, the teammates have, et cetera, et cetera. And the more
yeah,
he feels comfortable voicing, his position from leadership as far as that's concerned.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Rebecca, uh, I had like two questions for you. Okay, let's put the scenario that okay, we survive this, the 25 game, and then we do well after this, and we get to late January, and okay, we are still competing and everything is open. Would you see? Okay, I know that now we're going to talk about Kleinman again. Would you see any real moves being made near the trade deadline? And if you would, what
I
what would
personally
it
don't
be?
know what I'm not really, too aware of like who's available, at what spots. I mean, we're bringing Bismack, on, getting job
Hmm
back, but that doesn't negate the need for more depth at those positions,
hmm
you know, but who is available and what are they willing to do, is the question. I mean, and I don't
Yeah,
know the answers because I don't really pay too much attention outside the
yeah.
Grizzlies. I mean, I watch games and stuff
Uh-huh.
and I'm entertained by it, but as far as like to deep dive into what people's contracts look like or any of that kind of stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. And also, but I don't really also know very well too. But also, I get the sense that a lot of things that eventually could be done, they also depend on how the other teams will be in January. So blah 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 blah. So it's an open question, and I hope that it's still open in late January, and I'm kind of sure it will be. Now, Rebecca, a different question. How come you, born in Texas, living in Texas, how do you become a Memphis Grizzlies fan?
I should turn that back on me.
Ah,
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I was born in Texas. I've lived in Texas my whole life, but my father was born in Illinois, and for the last, 20 years or 20 some odd years of his life, he lived in Ohio
mm-hmm.
with his third wife. And in 2017, he was diagnosed with lung cancer.
I'm
And
sorry.
so my brothers and sisters here in Texas, we decided to travel to Ohio as much as possible
Mm-hmm.
after he announced his diagnosis, just because we didn't know like how it would turn out. Would he survive it? Would he not survive it? So um, previously, when we would drive to Ohio, we would all drive together so we don't have to stop because it's a 21-hour drive.
Okay.
But it didn't work out that year. We all had to drive ourselves. Plus, I feel like for me specifically, I wanted that time to myself to reflect, and
Mm-hmm.
I had always wanted to stop in Memphis. Um, we drove through it every time we'd go up to Ohio, but we never stopped. So now that I had the opportunity, I went ahead and started staying in Memphis as the halfway point. It's not quite the halfway point, but it's close enough.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go there. And I wanted to go there because the history is so deep, the culture is so deep. It shares a lot of characteristics with the city that I called home for most of my life, Austin. It's a river city. It's on a river. It's a
Mm-hmm.
music city. You know,
Yeah.
we have Sixth Street, which is the entertainment strip. They have Beale Street. There's music every night. You can just, you know, drop a pin and you can probably find a live band playing somewhere. So
Mm-hmm.
that was what drew me to Memphis, and just, going there. um I think, I stayed there 6 times that year. um I just kind of fell in love with the city. It's beautiful, in my opinion. Yes, it has its problems, but it's very green, and lots of parks, really cool buildings downtown. So I just kind of fell in love with the city. And so back to basketball, like, I didn't even know they had a basketball team. I wasn't even
Mm-hmm.
into basketball all that much. I had an ex-boyfriend from college who was taking me to Spurs games a lot because that was
Mm-hmm.
his team.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it, the experience, but the Spurs didn't really move me because, like, they had everything at that point. They, multiple championships, all these amazing players, Coach Popovich, just sitting on top of the
Mm-hmm.
world, right? And I'm just not impressed by that. So, I was like, they're okay, And then, and so my father did wind up passing that Christmas in
Oh, I'm sorry.
2017,
I'm sorry
and
to hear
thank
that.
um, and so the very next year, my sister lives up there too in Ohio. So the very next year, I told my sister I want to spend Thanksgiving with you. And so I was driving to Ohio, and I stopped in Memphis, as I always do, to spend the night. And I just was like, I'm here early. I want to do something. I want to go do something. So I was looking, I think there was a brochure at the Airbnb I was staying at. And I was like, oh, a basketball game, of course. And they were playing the Dallas Mavericks, and it
Okay.
was Tripp's, rookie year. And I went, and the ticket was super cheap, which was amazing because, I mean, who doesn't love a cheap ticket? I don't want to hear any of this nonsense people talk about on Twitter about tickets have to be expensive. No, they don't. But I will say this: the arena was practically empty, and it was a loss. They lost to the Mavericks that night.
Mm-hmm.
But I became a fan of the team on that night at a loss, because I love underdogs. And I just felt like, here is a team in a city that I love because I feel connected to it, and they are definite underdogs. They ain't no damn good, which,
Mm-hmm.
that's how it was. Um, but that's why I fell in love with the team after I fell in love with the city, is because they're both underdogs. Memphis is constantly shit on and counted out. Same thing for
Yeah.
the Grizzlies. Language, I'm sorry. Um, but to me, that makes them all the more endearing. I love the city and I love the team, and that's how I became a fan. It just, just kind of happened
Mm.
through my love for Memphis.
Yeah. It's beautiful, beautiful. And well, you said that the question could come this way. Yeah. It's true.
Hmm.